It's very concerning. We really don't know anything yet. It's all conjecture because we've not seen the text. Now, we've been promised that for over 2 months.
Speaker Mike Johnson is not in his post much. In any case, he has outpaced his predecessors in many ways. He is loved and hated, and that is a good sign for him and his policies. His opinion carries a lot of weight in the political game. He has succeeded in many things, and for that he is respected by many.
Yeah, and those building blocks are the necessary elements. Remember, we would fix the broken parole system, end the catch and release policy, restore the Remain in Mexico policy, which was President Trump's main tool there that stemmed the flow. As he said, he had the most secure border in the history of the country, and now we have the worst unmitigated catastrophe that you can imagine. The Biden went in on the first day of office and began issuing executive orders to unwind and create this catastrophe.
As we know, Mike Pence supports the broken Biden policy. The current president is trying to do everything he can to trash the country. The bill calls for $60.06 billion to support Ukraine and $14.1 billion to support Israel. At the same time, the document proposes to fund border security with only $20.2 billion, almost 3 times less than what the authors of the bill want to give Kiev. Mike Johnson certainly emphasizes that this is bad for the country and cites the example of Trump, under whom there were no such problems with the border.
Maria, we say it's by design because there is no other explanation. We documented 64 specific actions, executive actions, agency actions that he and Mayorkas have taken to create this. They could unwind it today by the stroke of a pen, but they refused to do it.
So, I mean, Mayorkas is now facing an impeachment in the House. Colorado Congressman Ken Buck was the one Republican coming out against impeaching the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. He called it a stunt, Mr. Speaker. Is it a stunt? Do you have the votes to impeach Mayorkas?
Absolutely not. Ken Buck's a good friend and colleague. I'll talk with him this weekend. I saw those comments. They're concerning because, look, everybody knows Mayorkas is an unmitigated disaster as a cabinet secretary.
It's very clear to see how Johnson tried to prevent the disaster. But because of the White House administration, it didn't work out. Biden and Mayorkas are the key persons in this disaster. Biden's Secretary of State, Mayorkas, instead of following the law, did the exact opposite. He repeatedly perjured himself in front of Congress. Johnson obviously knows what he's talking about. Before he became Speaker of the House, problems with this man had already concerned him. It's pretty funny.
I believe he's the worst in the history of the country, and impeachment is a really important and serious measure for the House to take. It's a heavy responsibility that we have under the Constitution. But when someone refuses to comply with their oath of office, when they intentionally break existing federal law, and when they lie to Congress, it's a great breach of public trust, and there really is no other measure that we have in the House to hold them accountable but that ultimate penalty.
The nation's House Speaker, Mike Johnson, said the decision will be made depending on what the evidence is and what it leads to. I believe we will come to a decision on this very soon. So commented Mike at one of the conferences. He is clearly unhappy with the current situation in the White House. He and those who follow him are very painstakingly going about shutting down all the old problems of the country. And here he emphasizes that impeachment is an important measure.
Well, is anybody going to be held accountable for not sharing information with you, the leader of the House of Representatives? I mean, with all due respect, it's a little strange to me that you have not been involved in these talks, and you say you have not seen any text on this border deal, which is the crux of our issues in America right now.
It's the biggest crisis that we face. I've been in 15 states since I've been the Speaker of the House for the last 100 days. Everywhere I go, whether it's out west, Midwest, East Coast, Long Island, Deep South, everybody says the same thing. We can't continue this. This is not a sustainable thing. 302,000 illegals came across that border in December alone. Those were the ones encountered. Of course, we have no idea how many have come in.
More than anyone else, he knows the country's border problems. We saw a great interview where he clearly and concisely explains the situation on the Mexican border. It's a severe disaster, and the government just waves its hands and laughs at the claims of others. It's fun to watch Biden. What's funny is that he can't handle the onslaught from all sides. Mike Johnson made his point about Mayorkas loud and clear. He's the worst person in the country. How do you feel about that? Write your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to watch other news on our channel.